Morning. Well, it's morning here, just after 7. Time to look at your introductions. Okay, so I posted this a couple of days ago. Advantages and disadvantages. So this is one of those the advantages outweigh the disadvantages type of questions. Now, there's 3 different types of advantage, disadvantage essay. It might simply ask you what are the advantages and the disadvantages of a situation. It might say what are the advantages and disadvantages and give your opinion, or it might say do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, in which case you have to show that one side is a stronger side. There's more advantages than disadvantages, etc. So that's what we have here. So, some people prefer to live in a house. Others feel there are more advantages to living in an apartment. There are more advantages than disadvantages of living in a house compared to living in an apartment. I don't know if you can hear this, but it's pretty windy here in Central Europe. This morning I've got my office window open and there's a bit of a breeze. It was blowing quite strong all last night. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear it, but we'll continue. So here's my introduction. So we've got some people prefer to live in a house. Okay, living in a house is preferred by some. Others feel, others believe. As I keep saying, you don't have to think of synonym all the time. And matter of fact, every time I keep marking students' essays, one of the obvious band 6 things that they usually do until I tell them otherwise is they keep using what they think is a synonym, but it's obviously not, or it's not for that particular context. So you don't have to paraphrase every single word. There's some words that you cannot really change. Some words don't really have a synonym that's interchangeable. What you can do is change the form of the word, if needs be. So others feel, others believe. More advantages to living in an apartment. Life in an apartment has more benefits. Okay, that's good. In my view, now, so how I would approach this essay, I would be looking at advantages of living in a house compared with an apartment. So I would probably do that in paragraph 2. I say, okay, you've got more space in a house and more peace and quiet because, as I'm sure that a lot of you know, if you're living in an apartment, you've got neighbours upstairs, downstairs, to the left, to the right, to the back, to the front, etc. And it can be quite noisy at times. Whereas if you have a house, usually you only have neighbours to one side, if at all. So that's what I would be talking about there for the advantages in comparison. So, well, house is more space, with apartment it's usually pretty tiny, small piece, quiet. The disadvantages, which I would be talking about in paragraph 3, would be higher rental costs or ownership costs. Obviously, a house is more expensive than an apartment. I mean, where I live now in Bratislava, most working people either rent apartments or usually share apartments. I think it's more common for most working people now, or relatively, expats who don't have a family house, and lots of Slovaks who are from out of town, we all share. So I will be talking about that. Advantage of, the disadvantage is that houses are more expensive compared to apartments. Okay, so that's probably how I would approach this essay. Okay, so let's have a look at your introductions. Well, some people believe that living in a house is better than living in an apartment. Others argue that there's more benefits. That's pretty good. Pretty good. You see, I'm going to highlight this Pretty good. You see, it's pretty similar. Pretty similar. That's pretty good. I have no arguments with that introduction at all. If I were to read that and I were the examiner, I think, okay, you've restated the topic and I know where you are going. So, excellent. Different views and how to be beneficial and how to be the process of cost. Very good. I'm going to highlight this one also. You'll see it's pretty much the same. As I keep saying, keep it simple, keep it clear, direct, and simple. There's no need for these. It's a controversial topic. We don't need this. All you've got to do is say, okay, some people think this, some think that. I think this because blah, blah, blah. Keep it direct, like these two examples here. Oops, like these two here. I'll highlight that as well. If you compare mine, it's virtually the same. Oh, some people think this, some think that. I think that privacy is the advantage, however, lower cost. So, I reckon this would be basically, if they were to write the complete essay, I have no doubt it would be pretty similar to mine, because look, we're talking about privacy space, yeah. So, according to some, living in a house is a lot of benefits from an apartment, living in a house, oops, and individuality. Individuality, and how does that work? And what? Individuality is not really a noun, so I don't know what that even means. And individuality, not clear. That sometimes would make residents happy comparing with an apartment, but we don't need a comma because we're using what is a conjunction. The drawbacks are outweighed in terms of cost. Why is that an adverb? Just cost, safeguarding, sometimes lack of neighbours. Okay, I'm not quite sure about that one. You can see where it's going, but individuality, I'm not sure what that actually means. Well, okay, so it's not so bad, but it's not as clear as the previous two. People's preferences for living in a house or flat are varied. Okay, although houses are more expensive but quieter, apartments are more affordable, particularly for new couples in spite of their noisiness. I think a house brings more good than an apartment does, regardless of its price. Okay, so that's not bad. That's not bad. I see where it's going. It's pretty much the same thing. So yeah. Okay. Numerous individuals, eh? Numerous individuals, you mean some people? That's not quite the same thing, is it? Numerous individuals. Why not simply say some people, according to some? Settle on their decisions about the sort of convenience they want, eh? Settle on their decisions about the sort of convenience they want to. How can you live in a convenience, and how do you settle a decision? You can make a decision. So, okay, that's not phrased very well. A few people live in a house, others would select a condo. A condo, you mean an apartment, then say so. Oh, and we've got one of these waste of sentences. Now, I mentioned something about this in the group the other day, well, every day. This tells me nothing. The advantages and downsides. Okay, you're supposed to answer the questions. Tell the reader where the essay is going, so that's no good. Okay. Well, some people opt to live in a house, others believe that has more merits, in my view. Advantages, the advantages, put an article there. That's virtually the same as what I said. Virtually the same. So, I'll highlight that. That's pretty good. Pretty clear. I don't have to think what the reader means. The meaning is obvious. Whether or not, you don't need a comma, opting an accommodation has always been a significant decisions for human. No comment. Some individuals prefer to live in a house, whereas a group of people may believe in more safety as well as expenses. Right now. So this is better, but sentence 1, no idea what that means. So, part of people, what? Which part? The top part? The bottom part? What does that mean? It means some people. Some people would rather live in a house rather than. How can you be passionate about? Don't include stuff that's, be passionate about how advantageous to stay in an apartment which has chosen by. Oh dear, right. So, that sentence, no idea what that means. This is what the examiner is going to do. If they don't understand it, they're not going to try and waste hours decoding it. They're not going to give you a call. Hey man, Mosen, I'm the examiner here. Listen, I'm just reading your essay, and there's a sentence here, right? Can you explain? They're not going to do that. They're just not. If they can't understand it, then they'll just mark it accordingly. And in spite benefits, are more good points to reside in a house. Empty sentence, which you've told me nothing, which are what? You've not answered it. So, don't understand what that means. Then be passionate about how advantageous to stay in an apartment which is chosen, which has been. So apart from the English part, that's nonsensical, and then this empty sentence doesn't tell me anything. Living in the houses. The houses, why do you have a definite article? Why is it plural? Why some family has considered more likely compared to an apartment. Well, that's not very good. That needs rephrasing. I personally believe that there are more good points not in the houses, but in the flats, because it's cheaper, more convenient and safer. So that's not too bad, but this first part, not very clear at all. I'm not even going to attempt to correct it. Now, what is this? Is this an essay introduction? If I want to point out the pros and cons, I will start my views. Well, obviously clear. That's not. And what is this? Because so that's not academic at all. That's not how you write an essay. It's not how you write an introduction. I'm not going to make any further comment on that. Look at our other videos. Go to the blog site. You can see how to write an essay, how academic essays look, because that you don't start like that. That's not what the examiner wants at all. Okay, this is the last one. There are some people who would rather live, we don't need talk, in a house instead of living in a flat, although some people's preference to be residents in an apartment. Personally, I would rather live. Why? You don't need a preposition after rather. I would rather live in an apartment in terms of its safety and security. What? And living in a house is not safe? A house is not secure? Well, we'd have to see. Okay, but okay, we've restated the topic, but you haven't really said what you think the advantages and disadvantages are. You've given your opinion, but you haven't really said the advantages are, the disadvantages are. Okay, so that needs a bit of work. So that was mine. Start. That was good. Good. Not too bad. Then that's not too bad, despite a bit of spelling. And then we've got some. That was good. And we've got some others that need a bit of work, I think. Okay. Right. I hope that helps. I'll post a new topic in a while.